sit down.
What is going on, Dads? And so welcome to episode 59 of the Dads After Dark Show, recorded on Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. We're your host, Drew and John, and thank you for joining us tonight for some Nintendo and old farts. I say that, John, because, well, first of all, how are you doing? Oh,
I am excellent. How are you doing? It's been a while. We were recording a couple nights late because of your friend Henri.
Yes, fuck Henri. Well, actually, thank you, Henri, because he settled down a little bit. It wasn't that bad. Hurricane Henri. We lost power for 12 hours, but besides that, and no power means no water for us. We were on well water, so.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, because you're kind of like, you've got a weird house that has like a 4-mile long driveway. It is hidden from all of society, and you have a frog infestation.
I have I live in frog country. The secret, if you don't get water when you lose power, is to fill up your bathtub with water before the storm comes.
Right.
And then because you'll be able to flush the toilet by scooping water out of the bathtub and pouring it into the back of the toilet.
Would you drink from the tub too, and or would you just kind of like avoid it? Just drink some canned drinks or something until.
I'm not drinking out of it. I mean, I guess I could if I had to, but
you're like, hey kids, have some Coke, have some.
So luckily it wasn't too bad. But I say old farts because I see you have a comment in here about a old man injury, and I have my back is unbearable. I can't even walk. I have like this icy hot patch on. I had to go to the chiropractor yesterday. I like my chiropractor. He's a good dude. He's a younger dude. He's a sports chiropractor. But when I go to see him, I feel dirty, like in a sexual way. I feel like I have another man doing things to my body that just feels awkward. But it feels nice. You know what I'm saying? It feels weird. It's
moment
like
of discovery.
Yeah, it's like sexual, but not sexual, but it feels good, but it's a man. I don't really know what to think, but I know, I feel a little uncomfortable going in, and I leave feeling great. So,
yada, 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 I left feeling great.
That's it. I felt satisfied and a little relieved.
I'm actually quite shocked you're having back issues because you're 10 years my junior, and I don't have back issues, but you have back issues. So I've had a leg injury for the last 4 months, really like 6 months, really like all year long. And it kind of floated from my knee kind of down, and I'm one of those guys that doesn't go to the doctor. I'm not avoided at all costs. What I really avoid is, when you go to doctor and you like start to say like, what's wrong with you, this, and then they just kind of like, they say, okay, well, we think it's this, and then it's not. So I like to like soak up the symptoms. Yeah. Like I like to like, not like totally self-diagnose. Like I'm not going to go to Google and diagnose myself and say, that's what I have. But I want to have a good idea of what I have before I go see the doctor. So I've waited a while, and my knee had hurt and my leg hurts. It's just the weirdest thing, but I can walk, I can run if I wanted to. I don't really run. And I went to a specialist, and they did the x-ray thing on me. And this guy was just like working my leg, touching my leg. It was a lot of touching of the leg. And then like while we were talking, he would like occasionally just grab a muscle or something. And it was just very uncomfortable. They can't find anything. I mean, which was kind of good and kind of bad. I gotta say, man, my leg bone looks beautiful. It's just one of the most beautiful leg bones you ever seen, and muscles look fine, everything. And he was trying to like do pressure points, and I was just like, nope. It was like sometimes it irritates me, and then sometimes it doesn't. And I just picked this 1 hour where my leg felt totally fine.
Felt great.
I felt like I just wasted everybody's time and a little bit of my money. But it might be like a nerve issue. So I've got this cream for,
Ooh, don't put it too high.
It's like an arthritis cream, which I he didn't tell me when he told me to like try it. And so when I went to the store to get the brand, what's the brand? It is
felt old.
Voltaren. And I see the Voltaren and it goes Voltaren, arthritis pain. And I'm like, oh, I'm really glad the doctor didn't tell me it was arthritis to my face. But yeah, it's still kind of there. It's I think it's just gonna take a long time to go away. So, but at least it's not my back.
Yeah, if you see me getting up and walking around and stretching out, it will be most likely will happen before the end of the show.
Ooh.
I don't know. The problem is I got a lot of golf going on this week, and I need to golf. I need to figure this out. But
real
I can't,
golf.
Yeah, but I can't walk, so it's a big problem.
Maybe you shouldn't golf.
That's not really in my vocabulary to say no.
So this is like a Tiger Woods thing, right? You got the back issue, and you don't want to like back out of the major.
Yeah, big tournament Saturday. I gotta be there ready for the tournament. After you guys are gonna make me stay up till 1 a.m. for this damn fucking fantasy football league that somebody thought was a good idea to start at 10:30 at night. No one consulted me, by the way. I'm not happy with this.
You belong in the mountain time zone. You need to come out to the mountains because it's 8:30 for me.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
See, I have other fantasy football leagues, and the draft starts at 8:30.
Oh, okay.
I don't live with you guys. But actually, funny you say the guy running the league, Hambone Johnny, I believe lives in Eastern Time Zone.
In your neighborhood. And I want to thank you, Hambone Johnny, for giving me the number one pick in the draft.
Bullshit.
Drew, I've never had the number one pick, and I really wanted the number one pick because I wanted to get the best player. And oh man, I was watching the YouTube video. He did a YouTube video.
I watched it. It was great. It was fun.
I don't know why he did separate numbers with separate names. I assume he saw somebody do that before. I feel like he should have just done a jar of names. But it's okay. And I was watching it, and everyone would go by. And I got it. I'm like, my name hadn't been called halfway through, and then he picks out the one, and I'm like, come on, baby. And he did it. And I like shouted in the room. My wife was watching TV, and I was like, yeah. So,
I mean, who
number
you
one
going
pick is it's a snake draft.
Right.
What I like about the number one pick is I have all week to decide what my pick is. There's no time pressure. And then I don't even have to have the pressure of who do I pick at 10 or 11. Those picks are so hard.
You're 28. That 14 people is going to be one, take forever, and two, it's going to be ridiculously hard. Like you're going to have no names playing.
Who? Me? What do you mean?
Everybody.
Oh yeah. I think our teams are going to get really thin quickly. I've got some really good ideas for those players that are not going to go early. That could be big picks. But when you pick 7th or 8th or 9th in a draft,
that's what I am.
So painful. Is that where you are?
I think I'm 7.
It's so hard because the elite running backs are kind of off the board, and you have to start thinking about those upper mid-range running backs, or do you pick the elite wide receiver, or do you pick the elite tight end? And not everyone goes with tight end, but last year I picked George Kittle really high. But do you go with a Kelsey, that sort of thing? Or do you pick, just a good running back? It doesn't feel sexy. I like with the number one pick, I don't have to deal with that. But yeah, it'll be 28 picks before I pick again.
You'll probably take a shower, have a sandwich.
I could wipe my balls while I wait. I mean, there's a lot you could do. Good. But it's gonna be I'm gonna have an elite running back. And then I think when it comes back around, I don't know if I'm going to pick another running back. I might.
Well, you get 2 in a row. You get 2 picks. You knew running back and somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not going to go for the quarterback though. I made that mistake last year.
I'll tell everybody needs to pick a quarterback first round. That's what everybody wants to do. You should all go do that.
I have a really good idea for a rookie running back I want to pick. That's all I'll say.
Oh, you might not play. Anyways, moving on. I got a story for you, John. I know you love a good story.
I love a good Drew story.
I have many. This one revolves around my wedding ring. I'm going to make this a long story short. I lost it. My wedding ring is gone.
What?
It's gone. Lost it.
Oh, you lost it? Lost it?
Lost it. I felt awful. I texted Amy. I said, I feel so bad. I feel sad. I'm mixed emotions right now. I lost my wedding ring. What her response was? she sent me an Amazon link for a $35 wedding band. That she didn't even. She's like, I don't care. Just buy this one.
She cares.
She doesn't care.
But nobody else will even know. Nobody even has to know, right? I mean, we
Now
all know now. All of our listeners now know, but
yeah. So I have this routine at golf, right? For any golfers out there, so typically, number one routine would be take the wedding ring off in the car and leave it in the car. That maybe happens 12% of the time. I remember to take it off. Then when I go to golf, you practice putting before you play. And if I grab a golf club, I feel it because, you feel like the ring on your hand. So I'm like, oh, I don't golf with it on. So I put it in my pocket if that happens. And then I usually, when I go to my golf bag to get, golf ball, whatever, I'll put it in, I have like a little pouch that has, my wedding ring, my wallet, my cell phone that I put in my golf bag. So I do that every time. The problem is when I went to the putting green to practice putting, I put it in my pocket, and that's the last I remember. So I think I left it in my pocket, maybe got in the golf cart, fell out. I don't know. It's gone. It's not being. It's never gonna be found. It's not like I left it in a store. Like it's probably in the middle of a golf course. Never to be found.
Somebody might come across it though someday.
Well,
there's a chance.
I don't know. I already ordered a new one. That's it. That's the story. She didn't care that much.
That we know. I have a feeling it'll pop up someday. It might be years from now.
I mean, it's not. What am I gonna do? Call the golf course once a year?
That's a good point, really. I mean, you could let them know you lost your wedding ring. Maybe they'll make a little note of it. Yeah, it'll be a memorable story. They'll be like really looking out for it.
It's gone. It's gone. I'll have our.
Isn't your name in it? Don't you have your name in it?
No, I got this. It was a cheap tungsten ring. When I bought my wife's wedding band, the guy pretty much gave it to me for free because a tungsten men's wedding ring is only like $100. Like they're not super expensive.
Right.
So when I bought the wife's wedding band, they pretty much just said, yeah, whatever, included in the price. It's like free.
Right.
You're spending that much money on a ring, they don't care. $100, they probably paid nothing for them. So I just bought another tungsten one. I think it was like $100 online. I found one that I liked.
Found one I liked. This one's good. This one says, "I still love you, honey, even though I lost my wedding band."
And I will remember you for every time I look at this ring and I say, "This is not the right one." But it is what it is. You know what? You see those rubber wedding bands for men? That work out, yard work. I need one of those that I can.
Why didn't you just get one of those in the first place?
I bought one of those on top of it. You can buy like a 4-pack for $10.
So you're gonna get a 4-pack of wedding rings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus the nice one.
It's like a wedding.
And now I have 5 wedding rings. Can't lose these suckers.
The good news is if you get married a few more times, you don't even have to buy anything. You already have it.
Yeah, that's great. Set. I agree.
Yeah. But, all right.
That's it. I mean, you good? Should we talk about some video games?
Let's talk about some video games, man. All right, Drew. It's another week plus 2 days. What does that give us? 16 days of gaming?
Oh, I've been busy.
What have we done? Let's talk about what we both played. The rare double penetration game of the week. WarioWare Get It Together, the demo. What did you think of this?
Fucking loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Played with my wife. My kids watched, and it was great. It was very smooth. I love the characters. How they add a whole new element of gameplay. What's your favorite character?
I don't know if I have a favorite yet. I think I just like Wario because he was like more simple, but I don't know if I would say I have a favorite. Some of them are weird, like the guy who shoots out.
Yes, the green guy.
Yeah.
He's my favorite. Love him.
Yeah, he's different.
Dominate with him.
Yeah.
Just what a blast. What a great. I mean, it gave you just enough to say, I want to buy this game.
Oh my God, yes.
And I have a question. This might be an offline topic, but I'm going to ask it really quickly. So obviously I have the OLED model coming soon. This is going to be my first time ever, a new Switch, which, John, I still have never switched over the memory card that I bought about 6 months ago.
Oh, my God.
This is the perfect time to do it. Anyways, I have a question because I'm dumb. Digital games. Example, if I were to buy WarioWare digitally and my wife now has a Switch and I have a Switch, what does that really mean? That she couldn't play? Like, do I need to start reconsidering digital buys?
This came up. Well, no, because if you buy physical, you still have the same problem.
Well, she could just take the cart and put it in her Switch. If I'm not playing, I'm not worried about playing at the same time necessarily.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you could play it on. So you're going to have a primary Switch and a secondary Switch.
Is that how it works with
Switch,
one account?
Yeah, you can only with your account you can only have one primary, and the rest are all secondary. So you can play primary Switch, and then like what you do is on the other Switch you make sure you have your account logged in.
Okay.
So maybe on your Switch, I don't know how you're doing it, but like say your Switch, it's just your account, and then on the other Switch is your whole family. They have accounts, but yours is there. You download the game with your account, and then what'll happen is your wife would be able to play that game from that other Switch. But what's going to happen is it's going to check to see if you're playing a game on the primary Switch. So you can actually both play them at the exact same time.
Okay.
But you need to have your primary Switch in airplane mode.
Gotcha.
Because the secondary Switch, if it doesn't detect the primary Switch on the network, it'll just assume, all right, we'll just go ahead and play. It's kind of like a workaround. So if you go in airplane mode, you two can play at the same time. You might even actually be able to play in wireless mode. Wireless mode. Yeah.
Now, what if let's just say both Switches had the same account, but we wanted to play two different games at the same time, but we're both logged into the same account?
You can do that if you are in airplane mode. So it's a lot easier if you're playing on the primary Switch a game that is not a network-based game. Makes sense? It can get a little tricky, but really they just want to make sure you're not using the same account at the same time. But if you're in airplane mode, you got it.
So it's actually an advantage to buy digital here.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good point.
But I mean, in terms of the game itself, so check this out. For the first time in like a year and a half, we had company over. We had our two friends, our Overcooked crew. We had been playing Overcooked 2 since when it was released for a few years now. And the last time we got together was like a couple years ago. And so, yeah, this past week, last Thursday, we were playing Overcooked, and a notification hits my phone that the WarioWare demo dropped. And I was like, oh, and we saw it was a 4-player game, and we're like, oh, that's so cool. So we actually finished up what we were doing, and we played WarioWare. Unfortunately, you can only really do 2-player. I still don't know why, but if you look at eShop, it says 1 to 4 players. But it wasn't like that in the demo.
Maybe not the demo.
There was the ability to play Wi-Fi. We did try that, where we did. Oh no, it didn't have Wi-Fi. It was wireless, and we thought you could do 2 versus 2, which would have been super fun.
Okay.
But it was actually just co-op, 1-on-1, 1 with 1. So I think there's some modes that just weren't available in the demo, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we had a blast with the 2-player.
Oh, same.
And then I was kind of like trying it on 1-player, and it's not quite as fun in 1-player mode.
Agreed.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting one to see. But if you can do 4 at a time, holy crap. Even if you just do 2 versus 2, maybe over Wi-Fi, even wireless would still work. That would be a hootenanny. I was going to get this game anyway. I was going to get it anyway. But yeah, you're right. It's awesome. Unlocking the characters is fun. I like the way you get to choose 3 characters and rotate.
Yeah, that's fun too. I think that it makes every gameplay a little bit different, a little unique.
Mm-hmm.
Such
an intensity.
I taste some competition in the future.
I do too. I do too. It's really good. I mean, every WarioWare game is good. It's just I'm happy that it was good. So
me too. Agreed.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. I I've played a few other games this week. I can't remember if I mentioned this last time, but I'm working on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Again, one of my favorite series. So it's always fun when you get a new entry in a series. And the nice thing about this one is I still don't understand. The game cost $40 and it's 2 games in one. And each game has 5 cases. So essentially I get to play one of my favorite series and I get 2 games and I only had to pay $40. That's crazy.
Okay.
It's taken me a while because I got addicted to a couple of other games on this list, but I'm really enjoying it. I think the first half of the 4th case I did not enjoy. We got a little over dialogue-y. Once you start doing the court cases in these games, they're so much fun. But I don't quite enjoy all of the conversation, the fluff that they have to add to the games sometimes. And oh my God, the beginning of the 4th case, over the span of like days, I was playing through the fluff until the case actually started. And then I did the whole case in one sitting. But really enjoying it. I'll probably just do the first game for now. And then I think I'm going to do, this is kind of weird. I think in February, I have a bunch of games where I got like both games at once and I haven't played the second game. Okay. So I think I'm going to do I'm going to play the second game in Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I'm going to do the second game in the Hotline Miami collection. And then, there was some other indie game where I have the 1 and 2. And I never played the second one because you played the first game. You don't want to immediately play the second game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I'm going to theme that in my February. I finished up Diablo 3, played that with Cedric. We actually got further than you and I had gotten in our previous.
You guys are still going strong?
I've kind of fell off of it. I'm willing to play it, but I'm just trying to finish Great Ace Attorney. He's still playing it a bit too, but we got all 3 of the outfit gifts, which you and I never did, or at least I never did when we played. Yep. So I'm like fully costumed with my Crusader character.
All right.
And we went farther. We did a lot of it pretty tough things. And I was messing around. We never did this, or maybe you did, the legendary gem. You get like a legendary gem, and I had a legendary gem, which.
Oh, yeah, I did those.
Yeah, for every piece of legendary armor you have, it's like a 3.5% boost to your attack. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. But you can upgrade the gems, and man, it upgraded so fast. Like,
yeah, it was like
7%, 20%. Yeah. And so you just do the greater rifts and you try to upgrade it. And oh my gosh, we became so powerful. And then eventually, once I got all my like season armor, I sold my legendary stuff. And then I realized it doesn't work on the season armor. So I was very weak again. So that's why I kind of stopped, because I need to earn legendary armor again. But yeah, I mean, we had a fun time with it. It's Diablo. It's a little repetitive, but I think if I played another season, I would focus on those legendary gems, which I didn't do early on. We'd be more efficient. But I had a good time. I finished up my 300% run of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Well, 100% run of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So I have rolled credits 7 times on this trilogy. I beat the first game 3 times and the other games twice. 100%. This one was tough because just like the other games, you have those little items. Don't you yawn. Don't you yawn at me. But there's a lot of DLC on Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I mean, there were so many extra tombs and stuff to do. So it took a while. There was so much content. I never realized it.
How many hours? Do you know?
I don't know, because I do it on the Xbox.
Oh, it doesn't tell you?
I don't know how to check it. Yeah, but it took me at least double the time after I rolled credits to then do everything else. It was a little painful. There was some areas that were, because they make you we have these like villages, and it's hard to describe, but like these villages that are packed on each other, and there's walls everywhere, and it's just really hard to like find the little things you have to find.
Sounds miserable.
And, yeah, I often have to go online and look at maps for some of the stuff. You find one thing, it'll unlock other stuff or whatever. I like doing the optional tombs. They're so much fun. And there were some really cool puzzles on the optional tombs, including that pirate ship that I tweeted. But yeah, I'm kind of sick of the trilogy right now. I've played it a million times and I'm done for a long time. And then the last game I played was 12 minutes. Kind of a sensation in the dad's Discord.
Is this a game for me or no?
No.
Now, why do you say that?
This is like Life is Strange, like those kind of games.
Oh, I'm out.
This game's fascinating. Now, before I talk about this one, we're going to do a Betwixt episode this weekend. It's going to be a total spoiler cast of 12 minutes. So you might enjoy it, Drew, because you're not going to play this game.
I can play. It's like playing it in my car. I'm all in.
Yeah. And I will say, if you're not going to play 12 minutes, listen to our spoiler cast because you're going to hear a really crazy story. But if you are going to play 12 minutes, then steer clear. Do not listen. But
now, is this on the Switch?
It's not on the Switch. Not now. It could totally be on the Switch, though. But it's
even
not.
If it does, you're saying I still wouldn't play it.
You wouldn't play it. These are like, these are completely story-driven games.
I'm out.
They're not. It's not like Life is Strange, but it's a game like if you like Life is Strange, you would like this kind of game. You like other story games. I can't. I'm not going to talk too much about it because everything's a spoiler. But basically, you are this guy. You come home to your apartment. Your wife is there. You're celebrating something that comes as a surprise to you, and then this person who says that they're a cop comes in and tries to arrest your wife, arrest you, and then he like murders you. And then you are in a time loop and it repeats. You come back in again and again and again and again. It repeats when you die. It repeats when you leave the apartment. Basically, don't try to leave the apartment. And every time it loops, your character has the memory of the previous loop. It's not like you are playing all over again. Your character realizes what's happening.
Groundhog Day.
And uses the knowledge that they've learned from previous loops to go down different dialogue paths, to have knowledge of different things. It's extremely fascinating. It's the perfect kind of difficulty. You have to figure out what to do to stop the time loop. I found it fascinating, and it was funny. Nintendo, he was kind of, I'm not going to say mocking, but he was like, what's everybody's big deal with this game? And the next thing I know, I'm listening to their podcast, and he's like, oh my God, I love this game. Like, so he really got into it. Jesse's played it. Tim's played it. I think a couple of other people had played it. Varying levels of enjoyment and success. It's one of those games you never want to use a guide. Like, you just don't want to use a guide. In fact, at some point,
sure.
I was asking Nick for tips. Just like, give me little hints, because we were super stuck twice, but I didn't want to look anything up because I figure if you look up one thing, you're gonna look up 5 things. But we got through it. It was like, I will say, the whole story is great, but the ultimate wrap up to the game is not as satisfying as it could be. I didn't even feel like it was a full ending. But man, the whole story was incredible. And we're going to do this whole spoiler cast this weekend and talk about like all the things you can do, the attention to detail in this game. I mean, you can just out and out stab your wife if you want to. There's just all these different results that happen. There's things that you do. You can water a plant and it'll have an effect. There's so much to it, an incredible level of detail. And a game like I'll compare it again, like Life is Strange is a 12-hour type game, and if you play it multiple times, there's little bits of variation, or like the dialogue varies for like 30 seconds, and then you're back to the baseline. So there's not a lot you can do to affect the game. If you kill a character in episode 1, it's not going to really affect things down the road because they can't make a 1,000-hour experience. This game had a lot of breadth of variety, but because the game is basically this 12-minute scenario, they're able to get away with you being able to really change the story, because the game isn't long itself. Each loop is very short. So you might actually find that, I don't like these long story games because you really can't change a story. But this one, you really can change the story. So it was pretty fascinating. I really enjoyed it. It's my game of the year for 2021. It won't end up being my game of the year because WarioWare and Life is Strange is coming out in a bit. But right now, it is my game of the year.
Have Life is Strange the game of the year.
It's going to be the game of the year.
It can't be. You've already played it. It already came out.
No. The new game, True Colors, comes out September 10th.
I can't keep track.
They put out the first 15 minutes of the game. They did one of those things where they show you the first 15 minutes on IGN. It's like, I am not watching that. I mean, like, the first 15 minutes of a new game is the best part. The opening cutscenes and the introductions and all that. But right now, this is my game of the year. It's totally worth playing. And it's like one of those, it's just that quirky kind of game. It's just like, it's something different and new. Definitely give it a shot. It's free on Game Pass, which is a big reason why I played it. I don't think I would have just bought it and played it, but I've been waiting for it for a few months since they announced it. But if you have Game Pass, it's well worth trying it. You might hate it. I think Jesse's quitting on it. But it's worth trying. It's very unique. A great game to play with a spouse.
Interesting.
And there you go. Now, how about you? Your list is amazing. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, so Skyward Sword wrapped up a little over a week ago. We haven't talked. So Skyward Sword's funny. And I'm going to go on the record here. I never beat this game. Never completed it. And now I know exactly why. Because when you get to that 75%, 80% complete mark in this game, it's like, I want it to end now. That's honestly how I felt. There was, once you start going back to the 3 zones for the third time, and I had to collect those music notes, I wanted to just
the music notes.
I'm like, this is not even enjoyable. And I think that's what happened to me last time. I ended up stopped playing. Maybe another game came out or something. But it was so dragged out and repetitive. I felt like the flying around on the wind loft was just it was just so like uninspiring. Like I had no need to explore the islands. Like there was no gratification. You said it before. The side quests are just like miserable. The stupid one where you have to go give the kid in the Night Academy, I forget who his name was, the stamina potion like 3 times, and he's doing the push-ups, and it's like a intertwined, like you have to come back after every dungeon and give him, and then like after 8 hours of gameplay of doing it, you get, here's 5 crystals. I'm like, why? So I can get a purse that holds 9,000 rupees? I don't need that many. I don't need that. I could buy everything in the game that I don't need those.
Right.
What else really bothered me was the spoiler alert, Hylian shields, right? You know, we all know what the whole Hylian shield is. Mm-hmm. It's not even really in the game. It's like a side quest that you can get it.
Oh, you can? Oh, I didn't even know that.
It's well, I'm gonna tell you. Fast forward. There's a mission. There's a side quest if you go talk to the desert dragon. Right now, you bring the desert dragon back.
Yes.
So if you talk to him after you beat the desert zone, he opens up.
Why would I do that though?
You have to talk to him. He opens up a mini game where you have to fight every single boss again, and it's one after the other. You can't stop and save it, and you have to beat, I think, like 9 or 10 bosses in a row to get the shields.
Wow.
Why?
Did you do it?
No, fuck that. Why would I even try that? The collectathon thing, it's whatever, you know, it's just like games as drops and you collect items, it's fine. I still don't, I spent hours collecting those damn bugs. I'm still not sure what you do with the bugs. I think you use them for potions. I never used potions.
You don't, that's the thing, is you don't need them. I mean, you could get away with not doing a single side quest and be perfectly fine in this game. And you don't even feel like you're grinding from it too. Cause like if there's a game where, like, even in Breath of the Wild, if you do, you know, extra, what are the crap they call it? The shrines, you know, you can get it. You can get like, you can use that to contribute towards your health. You can use that to contribute towards your stamina. And they're fun and they're short, so it's not a big deal. In this game, the side quests just like go deliver this pumpkin juice to all these people. Yeah, it's like, and it's like, and they give you a quarter heart or something,
or crystals. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, And can we all agree that the Imprison is just the worst boss to fight 8 times? It's not even a fun fight.
So I got to ask this about the Imprisoned. So there's 3 fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first time you fight him, you basically knock him down by hammering his toenails,
Mm-hmm.
and then you run around him and you hit him on the head, right?
Yep, got it.
The first time you fight him, you can run around him.
Correct.
But the second and third time, and I guess it's because as it goes
the
up,
arms.
So he's growing the arms and that's blocking you.
He's bigger. You can't get by the path.
Because I was like, why can't I go around him anymore?
I want to say maybe the second time, but maybe not the third time. I don't remember.
You could not go around him the second time either.
Okay, well, you're right. I remember I also could not go around him. But
the third time, you have to be fast at that like last one. Because you have like one shot with the Grucinator. Yeah. And I kind of rushed it because I thought I'd have a couple tries, and that was it. And I had to beat them all over again.
Yeah. Now listen. I mean, overall, I don't want to bash. It's not a bad game, but there's a lot of bad mechanics in there that makes the game kind of like miserable at times. And for 70% of the game, I was 100% complete. I had every heart.
Wait. For 70% of the game,
like the first 70%, I was doing every side quest I could. I was getting every goddess cube and going back and getting it. Like up until like 30, 35 hours into the game, I was doing everything.
Right.
And then I just hit the point where like I'm done. I just want to beat the game. And I will say it redeemed itself because that last dungeon was by far my favorite dungeon in many of Zelda games I've played.
Which one?
You had the slide puzzle where you actually had to move the rooms around.
Oh my God. No, I hated that. I'm sorry.
Loved it. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
It took a while before like I was able to like get something done.
You collected the Triforce pieces.
Yeah. After I got like one, then it started to get a little smoother. I liked when you got captured and you lost all your stuff and you had to do the stealth to kind of get all your stuff back.
Okay.
I enjoyed that one.
But overall, I think the dungeon design was great. All the dungeons were pretty good. The items were great, a lot of fun. But again, it's like this is definitely on the bottom of my favorite Zelda games.
And it's not that it's bad.
It's not bad.
It's got some warts and everything, but like it's because there's so many good Zelda games. It's not that it's bad. Skyrim it wasn't bad, and I did like the button controls for the most part. It took a dozen hours to get used to.
We talked about that. It took a while.
That L button.
Brutal. Like I said, I was playing Mario Golf, and I would try to change the camera view, and I would always hit L.
Oh yeah.
When doing speed golf.
Yes.
But anyways, I've been playing a lot of Mario Golf. I think I'm over 90 hours now, John.
Holy shit.
Of Mario Golf, and I've been cutting back. Actually, I haven't been playing that much. I also during this weekend, shitty weather out, I set up the GameCube. I tried to set up the GameCube. I realized I didn't have the right pieces to adapt it to my new TV. So from Jesse and Dan from Retro Logic, they recommended a piece. I bought something on Amazon, $12. Came today, hooked it up, and it worked. It works fabulously.
Was it like a composite?
It's the the red, white, and yellow adapter to an HDMI.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Yep. So I plugged that into that. HDMI goes from that to the TV, and it works great. Yeah, I mean, loved it. We played. My wife and I was just playing story mode of Mario Superstar Baseball. What a fabulous game!
I love that game. Yeah,
love the game. That has that amazing theme song. Let's play baseball every day. It's such a.
I would love another Mario baseball game because baseball is my sport, just like golf is yours.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can do with it too, because I feel like there's not a ton of variety in Mario Golf. They have their special shots, but if you're not doing special shots, all the characters are for the most part the same.
Especially in this version, the Star Club's in a little bit, but they're all very similar.
Yeah,
I agree.
So in Mario Baseball, when you have all these characters with their different abilities at the same time, like in the field, it makes it a little more
It's a great game. And even the story mode is fabulous the way they do it. I'm having a blast. My wife, we set the difficulty. We're gonna play story mode together, but the difficulty I think we set too high. We've already played 10 games and we've won one.
How are you playing together? Are you like on the same team?
Yeah, we'll take turns innings. I mean, like there are only 3 inning games right now at the beginning of the story mode. So you play a game, I play a game type thing.
How did you end up picking this one to play with your wife? Like a baseball game? Is that?
She's a big baseball fan. She grew up in a big baseball family. She played softball. So she loves. Yeah, she was a fast pitch pitcher. She was
Oh, cool.
She loves baseball, so I knew she'd like it. We've played it in the past. It's a great game. It's just a fun game. So I talked about it the other day. She goes, "Yeah, I want to play it. Go set it up." And then we tried to set it up. We didn't have the part, so now we have the part.
That's cool.
But the last game I want to talk about, I kind of picked up on a win there, was Blossom Tales. This was out of nowhere. I think I was searching the eShop one day, and I saw that it was on sale for $3.50. And it looked exactly, if you guys don't know what it is, it's in a way a Zelda clone, very similar to like a Link to the Past style. And I guess I didn't realize, John, it's a few years old, right? 2019,
yes, it is.
Maybe. I guess I didn't realize how polished this game is. Like very polished, very unique, very smooth, colorful graphics. I love how it starts off with this grandpa telling a story to his 2 grandkids, and they're the narration of the story. And there's a bunch of parts where like the father says, he had it's actually the hero was a girl, and she's fighting, she has to fight like a mini boss, and they're like, oh well, it was a pirate bandit, and the other the grandkid would be like, well no, it was a ninja bandit. And they're like, well, which one do you want to fight, the pirate bandit or the ninja bandit? And you have to kind of select which one you wanted to fight. So I thought that was really clever. They have some really cool weapons, unique weapons, similar to Zelda. They had their own twist. But I thought what was really good with this game and the dungeons were the puzzle designs. I thought the puzzle designs were amazing. Stuff I've never really seen before, but also stuff that didn't really get old. I thought like some of the block puzzles and like the walking puzzles and all of it, I thought was just well done. And the game's not too long. I think there's 4 dungeons total, maybe 8 hours, right? You do 45 minutes for a dungeon or so, maybe an hour. Then you do a little bit of exploring between. There's a ton of side quests if you want to do, just like in Zelda. Hey, the witch needs to go get, some zombie brains and some of this stuff and bring it back and see what you get. But even the different worlds, you have the typical use like forest and desert and water. They were very unique, right? There was a lot of cool, you go into the snow mountains and there's zombies. You go into like a swamp, which I thought was really cool. You go into kind of like a golem stone type themed level. I thought they were just very different and very unique. But I love this game. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I don't know if it's still on sale, but I would have paid $10 for this game at least. I thought it would have been worth the value. So Blossom Tales, I loved it. Great little fun. Stuck it in there. I finished it in probably a few days, and it was good. These are the type of games that you said, John. It's great to just kind of play this without a guide, not having to look anything up, because I think you nailed it earlier. Once you look up one thing, and now it's like on your web page history, it's so easy to just open up your phone. But this was a game. It had a little bit of challenge, but if you just waited, you could figure out the challenge. I think I messaged you. I was like, how the hell do I open this dungeon? And you're like, I don't know. I played that game 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think I played this game like 4 years ago.
And I figured it out. I just went back and I explored a little bit more, and I missed a switch.
This game reminds me of Phoenix Rising in one way. It's like it's so polished and it's good and all that stuff, and then you just forget it. It's like it doesn't have the memorable lore of a Legend of Zelda. So it's like, wow, this is a really great, like Phoenix Rising. It's just like, oh, this is a really fun game. I mean,
that's fair.
And then it's like, okay, moving on to the next thing. It doesn't.
And you know me, John, I liked it also because there was a fun, quirky story, but it was a very short, to the point, not a ton of dialogue.
Yes.
It was just like the good guy, the evil bad guy, and the story through the grandfather with the grandkids made it a little bit fun and comedic at times. I like
that.
perfect pacing.
And not a huge world. So you got stuck and you were able to just go around and eventually find your way.
And they had portals, which you could easily go between.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well done. It was, highly recommend Blossom Tales if you never played it.
Cool.
All right, that's it. It was a lot, but that's all I've been playing.
Excellent. All right. Well, what do you say we move on to not our top 10, our top 5 of the week?
Top 5.
Number 5.
We've got Pokemons. This week we had like last week, right? I mean, so I always say this week. I just mean since the last time we talked, Drew. You know what I mean. Time. This week's we got a new Pokemon Presents. Pretty beefy. It was a long Pokemon Presents, and we all know that size matters. We got updates on Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, which is coming out in November. This is the remake of Diamond and Pearl from the DS. And we got we had seen this game before, but just a little bit. A real beefy first trailer for Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is the Breath of the Wild looking game. That's coming out in January. I still can't believe there's a 2-month difference in when these games come out. We also got, they are releasing a new Switch Lite, Drew. New Switch Lite. It's a metallic gray with
the same.
With the 2 characters from Diamond and Pearl in the back. It was a really nice one. That Arceus trailer I watched a few times. Diamond and Pearl look great. Now I've been wanting to ask you, Drew. I have not even asked you, not even in private. As a newfound Pokemon fan,
yes,
you played Let's Go Pikachu, right?
Yes, yep, that's the only Pokemon game I've ever played.
And you did not play Pokemon Snap, or did you?
I bought it. I bought it, and I played through the first world, and I absolutely hated it. As expected, it was taking pictures.
I was trying to remember, but now I remember you were just bored.
I did play the other one, Pokemon Quest, which is like a little.
The free one.
Almost like a mini MOBA, but I played that on my phone.
Oh, okay. Yep. So what do you think of these games? Which ones, after watching these trailers, clearly you're going to buy that Switch Lite as well. Which of these games are you excited about?
I'm not buying that Switch Lite. It's a no-brainer that you will be buying it, I'm sure. Come on. If not, you'll be getting the bot somehow. So this is funny because this was always, for me, Arceus. Is that how you say it?
Arceus, yes.
Arceus. This was always like Arceus looks awesome. This open world, massive, essentially RPG, but with Pokemon, it looks fun. I'm gonna be honest. I thought and actually forgive me because I watched it on my Switch news channel, and I feel like the connection might not have been great, but the graphics looked a little off to me. Were they, or was that just my connection to the Switch?
Your brain is looking for Breath of the Wild, and it's not getting it. Yeah, it's like a cognitive dissonance. But yeah, it didn't seem super smooth and polished.
So here's my problem: is being I'm gonna say a low to moderate Pokemon fan. I have always loved the concept of Pokemon. I truly do. I think it's a great concept, great idea. It's fun. This game might be too much for me. And I was always all in saying, I'm going to play Arceus. I'm going to hold off. There's enough games between now and the end of the year that I want to play. I'll get Arceus, and I'm going to commit to it. My kids love playing and watching with me. But then I saw the Diamond and Pearl trailer, and I was like, wow, this actually looks really good. And my daughter was watching. She goes, this looks so cute. I want to play this game. And I'm saying to myself, if my kids were to play one of these games, Diamond and Pearl all day. For a 7-year-old, that's perfect for her. Arceus would be more for me. So I'm really torn, John, now, because especially with the OLED coming out October 1st, my current Switch is going to now be, pretty much my kids and my wife's game Switch. So I'm wondering, maybe I get them Diamond and Pearl for like Christmas. And then maybe just see how much I have to play. You know what I'm saying? Can they play on their own? Do I have to get involved? Am I now invested in this game with them? Or because I can't handle both. I'm torn. I'm torn on what to do on this. I mean, Arceus looks fun, but is it too much for me as like a low to moderate Pokemon fan.
You played Let's Go, and the
is
big difference between Let's Go and the standard Pokemon games like Sword and Shield,
yep,
and this game are that when you're in the no, I don't want to say the wild because that means something different.
Yep.
But when you're in the going between the towns and all that stuff, you throw Pokeballs to catch Pokemon in the wild.
Yep.
In reality, you are fighting Pokemon, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to weaken them with your Pokemon, and then you throw a ball to catch them. So it's a longer process. Both games have you battle other Pokemon trainers. That's in both games.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's a little bit different just in the casual. Plus, in Let's Go, you see the Pokemon, so you have an idea if you want to try to throw a ball at them to capture them. You're looking for a Growlithe, and there's the Growlithe.
Yep.
In the regular Pokemon games, you do not see the Pokemon, so you go through some grass.
Like the old school Final Fantasy games,
yes,
right? You just
exactly.
get okay.
Yeah, and sometimes if you're just grinding, you're just like walking in circles in the grass,
But that's even in Arceus that's going to happen?
I have no idea. We've gotten some hints on Arceus. Well, let's hold off on that for a second. But yeah, I agree with you. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl looks so cute.
It looks awesome.
And it's classic Pokemon gameplay. You can say it's repetitive. I mean, it is.
But it's a linear, repetitive game that, and the kids can... I mean, my 7-year-old will be able to pick that up and probably be able to play without my help.
It's just Pokemon is just it's a comfort food. It's the same formula. You're like, oh, Pokemon exists. You pick a starter and you just go, and it's not hard. You can grind, but like you just get through, you fight a bunch of guys, you go back to the little place and you give all your Pokemon health again. But it's just a comfort food.
Yeah.
And that's what this game's going to be. So if you guys enjoyed Let's Go, you will enjoy this. It's a little bit different, but I think you'll enjoy it all the same. It looks cute, yeah.
And that's the thing. I just decide: do I want to, rather than just buy it for them, do I want to play it and enjoy? Because I said I had an amazing experience playing Let's Go with my kids. Like it was like a really good bonding video game experience with them because they were into it. They were able to play it because they were old enough to play it. They could read, so if I had to leave, they could continue the game, and I could come back and say, how you guys doing? Do you need help with anything?
Right.
So that was really cool, and that's part of me wants to buy this game for them. But again, I don't think I can buy this and play it with them, which I kind of want to do, and then go out and play Arceus. I think it's too much for me.
Yeah, that's why you should really target buying this game when it comes out, so that you do give yourself some time maybe before Arceus. If you do wait for Christmas,
I know, then it's
Arceus
way too late.
is going to be too much.
Plus, with Christmas breaks and you're home a lot during the holidays, like I could probably put a lot of hours into this. She already said she wanted Pearl. I don't know which Pokemon are in each, if it matters.
I don't think it matters. I played Diamond back in the day because I don't know, but it's always nice to trade with people who have the other version. But with online trading, that's really just become super easy. Yeah. No big deal.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
especially with the Discord community. Let's go. Yeah. Someone.
We'll definitely be trading. Now, Arceus, we got a bigger reveal of that. We got to see more of what the battle system is. Mm-hmm. The battling seems really cool. If you see a Pokemon in the wild, you throw your ball out and you battle right there on the spot. It's just more seamless.
Yeah, less loading screens. It seems like, yeah.
Right. The Pokemon can attack you. They'll fight your Pokemon. There seems to be like a night phase where the Pokemon are a little bit more aggressive. It has a Breath of the Wild look, but yeah, like when you're watching the trailer, there's like seems to be a very small number of trees, and that might just be because they want you to have vision everywhere. But yeah, it's like there's a few smattering of trees. It doesn't feel super realistic in that way. It didn't seem as like the frame rate seemed a little low, but it's hard to tell on a stream. I mean, honestly, the Breath of the Wild team is like the best team at Nintendo, and they were getting help from Monolith. And, this is just a Pokemon team doing their first game. And they didn't have the ability. I mean, Breath of the Wild took forever to come out on Switch, right? I mean, it was supposed to come out on the Wii U, and it never did until like when the Switch came out. So, it may not be a testament to technical prowess, but it looks interesting. It's definitely different from the formula. We don't really know what all this game is going to do. We'll know more as it comes, but it looks totally different, and they really embrace the Breath of the Wild comparison. Now, I think it's a bad idea for them to really try to be like Breath of the Wild, because everyone says this is like Breath of the Wild for Pokemon, but it is not going to be as good as Breath of the Wild. If you look at just the map, it's very flat. Like the world is very flat, whereas Breath of the Wild has verticality and nooks and crannies everywhere. There's secrets everywhere, and I don't see that from Pokemon Arceus. So
agreed.
I kind of feel like they're trying to position themselves as Breath of the Wild because they want sales, but I think it's setting up people's expectations a little high. I'm a little worried about it, but I'll try to play it. That's why I'm going to play Diamond and Pearl right away. So I have a good month of time between them, but both games look really great.
Agreed.
And and I'm going to buy that Switch Lite. I don't know if I'm going to use it as my main, but I just feel compelled to get it. It's metallic gray.
Wow.
I've heard some podcasts talk about, it's just gray, but it's metallic gray.
You'll be disappointed.
It's going to shine.
So.
They both look exciting. And and then, once these games come and go, then we'll finally find out what happens next year. And I'm curious to see if Arceus is kind of its own Pokemon line by itself, which is interesting because we got Breath of the Wild and we haven't gotten a sequel to that one yet. Soon, but not yet. And or if they're gonna just change the formula permanently after this. So we'll see. Probably not, but
yeah,
cool. Pokemon.
Gotta catch 'em all.
You know you're my destiny. You need me. Okay.
I can't allow anymore.
Number 4.
Mario Golf League. I can't believe it's still going on. I mean, I love it. I secretly hate it. Just because I'm not the Mario Golf concept, but it's like it's a lot of fucking work. Especially when you don't have power and you're trying to update the stand-ins for the week. That wasn't cool, but I did it. I came through it. Got it done.
So much fun. Can I clarify one thing before you continue?
Yeah.
There was some chatter about this on the Dad's podcast or whatever. I can confirm Drew does all the work. The only thing I do is every week he sends me this graphic of what the next round's going to be, and he goes, "What do you think?" And I go, "Yep."
I feel like you're 75% even at doing that.
Well, you wake up earlier than me, and you always do it like on some weekend morning, and I'm just like, I'm not even up yet.
Yeah, that's fair. And then I'm like, I want to post it, so I don't want to wait any longer.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, I do look at it.
I know.
My biggest contribution was I told you to put 18 holes on there because you didn't have it in the first round, and people were asking, and I said you should put it on there, and that's it. So that's when you see 18 holes, it's because of me.
Then it's not on there this week because I used an older version. So yeah, Mario Golf has been doing fantastic. This is the final week 8, that wraps up the entire season, which means, folks, stay tuned because Sunday of this week we have a 1-day tournament as well. We did this in the mid-season, and this tournament, whether you're in last place in the league, it doesn't matter. You can play it, and the winner of the league will get $15, and just a random person will get $10. So it doesn't matter what place you come in, you have a chance to win $10 eShop credit. So you should be playing it. And the more information will come out that Sunday morning. But John, week 7 recap. We had a new power rise in the East. That was a Lord of the Rings reference there. Deep cut. Anyways, Trey. Texas Trey. That's right. We asked him about this. Texas Trey. That's right. He told us this. Texas Trey killed it. He absolutely murdered it. Which course did we play last week? Bowser's Highland. That's what it's called. He shot a 50. He shot 22 under par on that course.
That's insane. That course is. That course did have some interesting parts, like the rock, where if you bounce your ball, it just made this very satisfying bounce sound, and you can get some really great. But other than that, oh god, that course.
There was some strategy, and I'm going to give you a hint. There's since it leads over essentially. There's a lot of strategy on these when to use your power shots because there's a few of these holes you can cut like corners in the castle wall. You'll see a hole in the wall. You could use your power shot and drive the greens. A lot of fun. So Tet's trade, congratulations. That was a great week last week. And Matt's Power and Hambone Johnny, who's been right along there every week, tied for second, which means I finished third. Not happy about it, but I finished third. But anyways, stand-ins, right? So after this week, the top 16 are in. Right now, Matt's Power, Hambone Johnny, myself, those are the top 3. But more importantly, let's look at maybe the people that are on the borderline of making it, right? One of our good friends, Bob Cousy, Kevin, he's in 14th place, 15 Phoenix down, 16 Crazy Greek Dre. Now, these points are very close. I'm going to say, if you look at 17th place, that's the Informant, 18 SAZ, and 19 is Solo Something. All of you guys, you 3 are all in the run-ins, I think, depending on how you place this week. So get out the Bonnie Greens, get your shit together, make some birdies and eagles, and make the playoffs. Simple as that. Just we have $150 on the line here. This is no joke. This isn't a walk in the park.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
There's no friends here.
This should buy you Pearl and Arceus. WarioWare. So yeah, it's great. So again, week 8 is out there. Keep up playing now, and then like I said, Sunday we will have a little tournament. You didn't play the tournament, John?
No, I didn't do the last tournament. No. It's I've been even slow to do each of the rounds. I find Mario Golf relaxing.
It is very.
It's always taking me from something else, and
it's like 10 minutes, maybe 20 tops. Just play, just do it, just fucking do it. But that's it. Mario Golf League. That's all I got.
Number 3.
All right, John, I have the ultimate question of the universe for you. This has been a hot item in Discord. Trying to find, do we know what channel we posted this poll in?
I do not remember. I can do a search for it all.
I want to say it was in the lobby. I mean, what do you have to type in? Anyways, while you search, John, we had an interesting poll that was discussed in Nintendo Dads this week because I made them discuss it. And it came to my knowledge that you guys are all fucking crazy. The question is, do you turn off your Switch or do you put it in sleep mode?
It's insane. It's an insane question.
It's not really that insane of a question. I mean, you're a tech guy, John. You're supposed to be backing me on this and say it's good for people to turn off or restart your technology devices, right? Isn't that what they say? You should restart.
No, not everything.
So explain to me here, because did you find the poll?
I found it.
All right. What are the current numbers at?
Current numbers are 3 people say they turn off their Switch. 32 people put it in sleep mode. Here's why it's insane, Drew. Here's why it's insane. Look, if you have limited power, I don't know, Canadians sometimes do. It makes sense to turn your Switch off. I couldn't even remember how to turn my Switch off. I actually thought you had to go through menus, but I guess if you hold the power button down for a few seconds, you'll get a menu, and then you say turn off, right?
That's every day.
Yeah. So, but one of the greatest features of the Switch is you just turn it off quickly to sleep, and then you sit back down. Maybe your kid was having trouble, he was crying, and you need a Band-Aid, and then you just press the button and you're back in your game.
Well, listen, if I'm getting up to get a Band-Aid, I'm not turning my Switch off.
Okay, but
at the end of the night or the end of a main play session, I played Zelda, I beat a dungeon, I'm gonna go cut the grass. I might play tonight, I don't know yet. I'm turning the Switch off.
So what do? You're gonna save your game, turn it off, mow your lawn, then you decide you want to play. You're gonna turn the Switch on.
You guys
get
act
the
like
startup sound. No.
moving
Let me go through this scenario. Turn the Switch on, get the startup sound, wait for it to boot, log into it, press the button to start Zelda, get the loading screen for Zelda, wait for the loading. Like some of these games, like I mean, when you did this with Phoenix Rising, like the load times are incredible on some of these games. Load your game up, and then you're like, okay, here we go, we're starting. But why? If you can just press the sleep button, you're throwing it in the dock too. It's not going to run out of power or anything like that.
Is not. If they didn't want me to turn it off, they wouldn't have a turn off button. Okay, you guys act like I'm booting up with a 1992 IBM computer. It takes about 15 seconds to boot it up.
Boot up the Switch, but then you got to boot up the game.
No, I mean 15 seconds to get back into my game. It doesn't take that long.
You are not. There is no way you're getting back into Skyward Sword in 15 seconds.
I feel like we're going to do a test.
It's not happening.
Listen,
and that's just Skyward Sword. What about Phoenix Rising? What about, any of them?
This is why I still have an OG Switch with thousands of hours played.
It's
because I turn off my Switch. It's called a switch. You turn off a light switch. You don't put a light switch in sleep mode. It's a switch. You switch it off.
Stop it. So this if you asked this question about the 3DS, this would be a very interesting question because ever since the Switch came out, I have at times played with my 3DS. And what you notice about it, which is funny, is when you put it in sleep mode, you have to flip it shut, right? And then it has a little, I think it's like a blue light. Mm-hmm. I can't remember if it blinks, but there's a blue light.
It doesn't
and it is a very... and I would put it down on my nightstand. It is a very powerful reminder that you're in sleep mode. And yeah, it'll run out of juice, I would say, much faster than if you didn't plug in your Switch. But when you turn off your Switch, there's no lights on it. There's nothing to indicate that it's in sleep mode. But yeah, I would be I really kind of want to turn it off. I'm going to turn off the 3DS because it's a little strong. So if you told me about the 3DS, I think it would be a little bit more even of people who are power it down, power it up. And plus loading times are much smaller because these games are not that big.
I think it's got to be draining the battery. I don't care what anybody says. A sleep mode with your Switch, maybe not even docked, it's doing something. It's looking for updates. It's downloading behind the scenes shit. It's doing something. It's running. I don't care what anybody says. It is running.
It keeps its power pretty well.
I got my OG Switch. Day one, still going strong, 0 issues, and it's all because I turned it off.
But I didn't have issues either.
That's because you have 12 Switches since 4 years.
Well, that's true. I don't let it last a long time. But the other thing too is when you put your Switch into sleep mode, you're dropping it into the dock, so it's not going to run out of power. It's just not going to run out of power.
It's just you're running it. It's still running. I don't care what you people say. But people are wrong. 32 people are right. I did it with Frosticles. You're a good lad. Anytime you come over, I got a beer waiting for you because he gets it. He gets it. You turn it off.
You get something.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done. Done with my tangent. You guys are all crazy. Turn off your damn Switch. That's it.
You're all so insane.
Number 2.
Got a theoretical question for you, Drew. I've got what would we call this? Existential question for you. You've got 2 kids, getting older. How do you make your gaming time feel meaningful? And this is what I mean. When I was a kid, I was a dashing young lad, full head of hair. I would come home from school. I would do my homework. I was always a do my homework first kind of guy. And then, then I had a bunch of hours of free time. I would stay up much later than we let our kids stay up. And I knew I had a bunch of time. And for the most part, I played video games, maybe with friends. But I would play video games. And that was it. And so if I played, an NBA game for the 400th time, that was fine. If I played Legend of Zelda for, 20 hours in a week, that was fine. As an adult, we have more responsibilities. We have kids we have to take care of. We just have things, work stuff. I'm a programmer. I'm always having to study and stay on the leading edge. So when I play games, sometimes a little creeping feeling of guilt will come in, where it's like, am I wasting my time? Do you ever play like a game and go, God, I played 20 hours this week, and you go, oh my God, 20 hours of my life wasted.
You know what the dilemma is? It's like when it's like 10 o'clock at night, right? And it's like the wife's getting tired. She's like, I want to go to bed. It's like, do you go to bed because there's a chance you're going to have sets? Or do you put the chance away and say, well, I really want to play another dungeon of Zelda? And you're going to juggle it. Well, you can ask.
You're so basically saying, which dungeon do you want to play?
Which dungeon do you want to crawl into, right? And that's exactly it.
Dungeon crawler. Oh.
Yeah, dungeon crawling.
Oh.
So it's like, do you risk it? So then what happens is you go to bed. I'm going for the sets card, right? I'm dungeon crawling there. You get into bed. And then, you try a little bit, come on, and then you're like, well, fuck. All right, I'm going to go play video games. And then it's like awkward. So it's that.
So basically you're going, you want to go into sleep mode and she's just going to turn it off. No, but like, you're right. Well, did you ever think about like just asking, like, did you go like, well, hey, did you want to like, do you want to fuck? Or should I just be playing Zelda?
I feel like when you ask, the answer is always no. But when you like get into bed and you're trying to, romantically set the mood into it, ease into it, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you can usually tell right away what type of night it is. It's like that first move you make with your hand, whether you're an upstairs or downstairs first move type of guy, if it's like, shit, it's happening.
Sounds
or
like a topic.
It could be. Anyways, to your point though, yes. Mario Golf is a perfect example of this, right? We're in a Mario Golf week.
And how did we get to Mario Golf? Sorry.
So if I'm playing, I have a score this week, let's say my score is -20, I could go play 8 rounds and I'm not beating -20.
Exactly.
Well, then you say to yourself, well, shit, I just played 2 hours. I didn't beat my high score. Right. Was it worth it? And I could have played another game, or I could have done something, but that's where I think it gets you, right? Or I mean, RPGs, you're always progressing type stuff, but it's
even if you're grinding in an RPG, you feel like you've gained some ground. If you, like you said, you finish a dungeon in Zelda. But yeah, like sometimes when you play games, does it feel meaningful? And I thought you were gonna go in a different direction when it's like 10 o'clock at night, but like when you should get to sleep and have a healthy night of sleep, but you're kind of like into a game and you're like, I did this a few dozen nights, where I was up till 1 a.m. because I was just kind of getting addicted to, this game or that game. And Skyward Sword was one of them where it's like, I was up till 1 a.m. and then you wake up and you feel gross and you're like, was that gaming meaningful? Like in the end, that gaming made me feel kind of miserable. So how do you make sure that it's meaningful? And you gave the example of Mario Golf, like, knowing that you could play it over and over and over and not beat your score. By the way, I can play it over and over and over and not beat like 2 under par sometimes. But yeah, like I think it's a good question for dads.
I think it's another great question where you do stuff. And let's continue the Mario Golf example where it's like you play too much and you get to that point where no matter what you do, it's like you're getting lazy, right? Like for example, you keep restarting Mario Golf and it's like you're getting lazy. You're trying to play fast. You just want to get through those first few holes so you have a good round going.
Yeah.
And that happens in a lot of games, right? That you
get sloppy.
You get to that lazy mode, right? I mean, it could happen in any type of game, like a Mega Man type game. Like you get to a point where you're like, I'm not beating this level tonight. I've hit a point where it's like I'm lazy. Mario, all those type of games, you know what happens to. But yeah, I mean, but back to the root of the question being meaningful. Set goals, right? Rather if it is late, 10 o'clock, okay, it's 10 o'clock, but I'm gonna play one dungeon and that's it. I'm not gonna go explore for heart containers or do any quests after. I'm gonna play the dungeon and I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna play 18 holes and then I'm done. I'm not gonna restart. I'm not gonna play again. So that could kind of help you be a little bit more meaningful, I think, where you're not going to do that one more run or that one more thing. You gotta, playing, Enter the Dungeon. I'm going to do 3 runs tonight and that's it. And I've done that before.
Right.
So they're trying to help set that precedence of I'm going to be going to bed at least before 11 o'clock because you know how long it takes.
I mean, that's smart. I mean, that's I think that's the smart way to do it. The other thing too is getting your responsibilities out of the way. Like that's always like a big one for me. Like if I finish up a day of work, I could literally like close my laptop and then just game for the next 5 hours. But it's like, okay, I'm going to cook some dinner and then I'm going to go take the garbage out. And then I'm going to go pull some weeds for like a half hour, and maybe take that shower that's 3 days overdue. And then I'm going to sit down and play some games. And I feel like it does end up feeling like more quality. But if I burn out, if I sit there for like 3 hours and play some games or whatever, and I realize, well, I didn't clean the dishwasher and my wife did a couple loads of laundry, which is right next to my office. You start to feel like kind of gross. Like it's not it's sneaking out of that enjoyment time and kind of getting into your, hey, get your shit done or, that sort of thing. I do a lot of like moonlighting work, side contracts or whatever. And the last, like since April, I haven't really had any side work to do. And so I've filled up that time with gaming. And sometimes I wonder, I still don't have any side work. I have some side work starting next week, but it's like, am I purposefully not really looking for side work to do because I'm just playing games and am I getting lazy on this stuff? Or should I find something more productive for me to be doing? Maybe I could sit at a chessboard. Maybe I could read more. I've been trying to do that. But there are times when your gaming feels like it's just not meaningful anymore. It's just sucking up your time that may be a little more beneficial doing something.
And I think the other part of that is right. Sometimes you always feel like you have to start looking for the next game you're going to play, right? Mm-hmm. And I just did this. I beat Skyward Sword. I downloaded Blossom Tale before even Skyward Sword was done. And it's okay to say, you know what, I'm going to take, what's today's, end of August almost. I'm not going to buy another game until WarioWare comes out.
Right.
And that's okay sometimes. And like you said, then you can kind of focus on some of those side projects, maybe some yard work or whatever it might be. And then I think when you return to your video game and maybe it is a little more meaningful, right? Because you kind of stepped away and now it's like you're anxious. I think we all fall into that trap, and we're getting a little sidetracked, but we fall into that trap where it's like, you don't want, gaming's a hobby. We all passionate about it, but it can also feel like a job sometimes. It was a job for me to finish Skyward Sword. It's like, I want to beat this game. I want to move on. I want to play something else. And I put a lot of time into it. Was it meaningful? I feel like the last 20% of Skyward Sword was not meaningful to me.
Because it wasn't as enjoyable.
Correct.
But at the same time, too, if you quit it, it's almost like, wow, it wasted my 30 hours leading up to that because I didn't finish the game. Do you ever feel like when you play a game that you're being productive? Because I do sometimes. Like you said before, if I sit down and I beat a dungeon or whatever, I go, like I'll add it to the list of my accomplishments for the day. And it's like, you're really not. I mean, just playing a game.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think, like you said, and you start pacing out, like I said, I think everybody does this with video games. And then you start looking what's coming next. I need to pace myself out. There's 5 dungeons. I want to beat, 1 dungeon over the next 2 days. And then by the weekend, I'm going to be halfway done with this game. And maybe that's a bad thing, but I think as a hobby, I think it's also okay. I think it's okay to do that. And I think you'll see it open up other things in your life, which you got to do. Got to have sets at night. Got to do that.
Yeah. No, I feel like you're right. I think the formula is give yourself your goals for the day, your gaming goals for the day. Pace yourself out. Make sure that you have taken care of your responsibilities, and don't let it like interfere with your sleep schedule because nobody likes. I mean, I have the same temptation too. Like sometimes my wife will be up till 11:30 with me. We'll be watching Netflix or whatever. Sometimes I'm playing a game while we watch Netflix. It just depends on the game. Mm-hmm. Like Mario Golf was really easy to do that with. But then like sometimes she'll like go to sleep early, like 10 o'clock, 10:20. And I'm like, I got an hour of guilt free. I can just go do whatever. And literally I can do whatever, but I go like play a game for an hour. And inevitably I'm always up till past midnight. Just trying to make more progress or whatever. And then you wake up and you're tired the next morning and you feel lousy.
Does Michelle not feel bad? That's what Amy goes, I don't feel bad. You stay up to midnight playing games. Yeah, but I'm tired. I don't give a shit. It's your problem.
Oh, I see.
I get that a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, Michelle's not waking me up saying, like, do 100 push-ups.
No, but the next day, I'd be like, oh, man, I'm so tired.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
I've seen, too, like couples where the guy's, like, up late gaming. I see a lot of these videos on TikTok where it's like, the woman goes to sleep and then you, like, sneak out and you're going to play games all night. And I'm just like, wait, people can do that? Like, oh, my God. Like, I can't even imagine that. Can you imagine just playing till 3 a.m?
Oh.
And then just being the most useless husband, next morning? I can't even imagine that. Guys, don't do that. Especially if you have kids.
What great topic. I'm glad you had that there.
Yeah.
Good one.
And number 1.
All right, Drew, here's a little topic I'm going to call We'll Take Those.
Oh.
I follow a lot of podcasts on Twitter. It's kind of what we do. We all interact with each other. And a lot of people will ask for questions. Hey, we're doing our show. We've done it, right? You have any questions for us or whatever? And I feel like everybody's always asking for questions all the time. So we don't always ask for questions because it's like, everyone's asking for questions. You got Xbox questions. You got Nintendo questions. And it's like, why do we all need our own questions? Why don't we just steal questions? So this is a little topic that I'd like to come back to, which is, and I listen to several podcasts each week. I'm just going to steal some of the questions that go there, and we'll credit the show, but we're just going to answer the same question because I hear some really good questions on these shows, and it just seems like a waste when I go ask for a different question, and inevitably Tim gives me some like kinky sex question that we have to answer. So
I like it. Keep them coming, Tim.
So I've got a few questions that were asked on this week's Nintendo Dads episode. And the first question is from Mecha Dragon 101.
Mecha Dragon.
Who, by the way, was at his computer all day on Sunday. Naughty, bad Mecha Dragon 101. You got to get yourself out. You live in the greatest city in the whole wide world. Get out there. Don't sit at your computer all day. What kind of genre of games goes for each of you dads? How do you know if a specific game is made for you? So what he's asking here, and I think this is the way the dads answered it, is what are the genres for you? I think the idea here is when they get codes for games, who gets what game or whatever. But for you, Drew, the question really is, how do you know that a game is going to be for you? A game gets announced. How do you know that's for you? When you watch an indie direct, how do you know that game is for you?
It's funny. I follow a pretty predictable gaming schedule where I play probably around four, give or take one or two, like big RPG games a year. And in between those, I fill them with types of genres I like, a roguelike, a 2D platformer, and I try to space them all out. So I just played my RPG-ish type, adventure game, right? Start with Sword. I threw in Blossom Tale, which was a smaller, similar RPG type game, right? In a way. I mean, and now I'm on to that roguelike 2D mode. Like, that's my next adventure, which luckily Spelunky, right? So I try to plan that out, and then I always try to also get some type of family game thrown in there. And luckily we have WarioWare coming out. Mario Golf, in a weird way, was actually a family game because my kids could play it as well. So it's funny, but my genre of games really is based off release schedule and how I fit that in. That's how I look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been fun playing that release schedule. Like we have a kind of a very specific release schedule for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like when I'm watching, we talked about Indie World last week. I went ahead and did that topic because you said nothing interested in you. Not even getting into it. Yeah.
That happens.
For me, the kinds of games that I know I'm gonna like are basically if it's like a platformer with like smooth animation and achievements. That's my sweet spot. I love a game that gets pretty difficult. Games like Celeste we're talking about here, Super Meat Boy, that sort of thing. But I really like the achievements. I don't need the achievements built into the system anyway. Like I have enjoyed the Xbox achievements, but I don't need that on the Nintendo Switch. But give me some like interesting in-game achievements to do, and make the game smooth. I'm not super picky with performance, but I like the performance to at least be smooth. So like I'll always favor frame rate over resolution or that sort of thing. But those are the games that like I know I'm gonna like because I just love the challenge of platformers. And honestly, another genre for me lately in the last year even is the story-based games. I'm into like all the Life is Strange games. I think are incredible. Really enjoyed 12 Minutes this week we talked about. I'm looking forward to doing the Walking Dead, which has been on Game Pass for months and months and months. I just never quite started. But I'm really kind of like wanting to get into those kind of story-based games. The Ace Attorney games, which to me are really like story-based games. Any kind of game that has a lot of emotion. If I feel like I'm going to cry like a little baby over it, then all the better. Those games do it for me. And a few we saw in Indie World, is it like Road 57 or Route 57 or something like that?
96?
No, it's something else. And then there was The Last Stop, which I actually did try on Game Pass, and I couldn't get past the stuttery graphics. I might give that a try again, but it was like 3 storylines that kind of merge into one. I might give that one a try. But those games now are big for me. I really enjoy. And then tactics games. I just really enjoyed tactics games. I love Fire Emblem. Into the Breach is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm all ready for Project Triangle Strategy. I love tactics games. Metal Slug Tactics is coming out next year.
Yep, that actually looks good.
Yeah, I love those. And then after all that, just quirky stuff. I like to think I'm very eclectic in the games I play. I'm not just a shooter guy. I'm not just a RPG guy or whatever. I love the quirky, weird stuff because that's where you can find something you didn't expect. So I will play RPGs. I will play shooters. I'll play Picross. I'll play everything, story games. I'll play just the weirdest stuff at times, and it's always the weirdest stuff that I love. So,
but you won't play Ages of Mages.
I almost went to watch a Let's Play of it today. I was that bored. My podcast had run out, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just watch a Let's Play of it for like 20 minutes.
Wow.
And just to see what it is, because there's no way I'm going to buy this garbage. But I was like, maybe I'll just watch it and see. Maybe I'll watch it and I'll be like, you know what? This actually looks really, really good.
It's a fun game to play with your wife or your kids.
Yeah. My wife doesn't play with me. We played 12 Minutes together and had fun, but we don't play like co-op like we used to.
You play Ages of Mages, I will play Life is Strange. It's that simple.
You won't like Life is Strange, though. So it's not like I wouldn't want you to play. I want your wife to play Life is Strange.
She might.
Yeah.
Well, especially with her Switch October 1st.
Yeah, she'll like Life is Strange. I don't know if you'll like Life is Strange. And I don't want you to say, like, when you played Sayonara and didn't like it, it hurt me. It hurt my heart. And I don't know if I can handle that. Life is Strange is way too
And I'm not going to like that.
You're not going to like it. You're going to be bored to death.
Speaking of my wife liking games, I didn't realize there's a Professor Layton game on the Switch.
Yeah, it's not Professor Layton, though. It's another character, but it's the same series.
Yeah, she's a big fan.
Yeah, I love Professor Layton.
Never played myself. All right, next question. We'll take those.
Next question is, this is from, it's like these people get like double. This one's actually from me. I asked this to the Nintendo dads. Now I ask you.
I remember this.
What do you think about games releasing DLC and updates years after they've been launched? And I am specifically referring to Animal Crossing New Leaf, which got an update years after the game. I remember when they released the Amiibo support and the trailer park. And then most recently this past week, Dead Cells, which got another DLC. And I kind of listed the timeline here. Dead Cells came out in August of 2018. It's 3 years old. And then it got the Rise of the Giant DLC, which is amazing because I remember playing Dead Cells, loving it. And I remember when the Rise of the Giant came out, I played it right away. That was February of 2019. And since then, there was the Bad Seed and Fatal Falls. It just keeps coming. So what do you think about a game like Dead Cells, which I know you did play and enjoy, right? Yeah.
I did.
DLC just came out. Are you going to play it? Like, where do you stand?
I really, really enjoyed Dead Cells. I don't know if I bought it like at release, but close to release and played it. Beat the game. It was a great time. The problem is once I move on from a game, there's too many other games to go back, right? So if I went on to Dead Cells today, 3 years almost, after, it's almost like relearning the game. And here's what I don't understand when, what these studios do. I think Marty or somebody had a really good point about, well, they want a polished game because if someone were to pick it up, it would, balance change it would be more polished. And sure, that's fine, but it's funny because if they came out with a Dead Cells 2 today for $20, $25, I don't remember what the first one was, with these content that they added, but as Dead Cells 2, I'd probably buy it and play it.
Yeah.
But the point is that it's, even if it's free DLC, it's for a game that like, I've played that game. It was really fun. I'm not going to go back and play it just to see a new level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of funny now because we're asking questions that have been asked, and we can kind of comment on the answers. I think Justin was saying that too, like about polishing and balancing or whatever. I don't know if I really buy that. I don't think, Dead Cells is making some adjustments or whatever, but they don't have to be. It's a single player game.
True.
Yeah, the thing that really gets me is that I did play the what do they call that? The Rise of the Giant. And the thing with Dead Cells was I started playing that game with the DLC and I couldn't figure out where the DLC was. You start off in the beginning and you like explore. And I guess the Rise of the Giant is in this specific place, and they don't tell you that.
No, I agree.
And so it kind of turned me off to the DLC. And now I've missed a few DLCs since then. And I don't even know if I turned it on right now, if I would get all the DLC or how I would experience the DLC. So it's like you said, it's kind of wasting like free DLC on me.
It's wasting like valuable IP, right? It's IP that you could have used. And like I said, Dead Cells 2. You could have combined the last, maybe you do the first Rise of the Giant one for a free update, try to get more people. But then like the follow-up to the Bad Seed and Fatal Falls, which came out years later, just package that into a new game.
Yes.
Dead Cells 2. Even if you use the same engine, even if the art style is the same, just package it as a new game, like a new story with new weapons and some new type of ideas.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. And if you are using the same engine and the same design, drop it down, 30% of what the original Dead Cells 1 was. You're going to have a following, but I think what DLC gets you to come back is other games. So it depends on the game, I guess, really, for me. I mean, there's certain games for every person listening. For you, regardless, you would go back and you would replay it. Right, depending on what they did. I mean, I guarantee you right now, if Animal Crossing did something absolutely ridiculous, we would all go back and play. Like if they introduced something that you could kill people, whatever. But anyways, I think a good example would be Mario Golf, right? Like I'm always gonna go back because Mario Golf would be great. Like a New Dawn City. If they added a new course, new characters, why wouldn't you go just try it out? It's a 30-minute thing. Let's go see what the new course design looks like.
That does bring it. If the DLC is very self-contained, like remember the Mario Rabbids Donkey Kong DLC? Yeah. I love that kind of DLC because it's almost like having a separate game. I'm literally starting a new save file, and if I can't quite remember the mechanics of the game, it's okay because I'm starting a fresh save file. Whereas in Dead Cells, the DLC is like new branches off of the base game. So you're sitting there playing the same old game that you've been playing that you're clearly bored of already. And to get to the new stuff, but it's like you can't even get to the new stuff before you just get bored of it.
Remember Manaspark? When I told you about Manaspark, they had the DLC. The Manaspark had 4 dungeons. The DLC was a 5th dungeon that was just an extension of the game. So you beat the final boss after the 4th dungeon, and then it opened up a new 5th dungeon. Like, I don't want to play through the first 4 dungeons. I already beat that game.
Yeah.
You know, another great example would be is if Slay the Spire came out tomorrow with a new playable character.
Yes. Well, they
I would
did.
log back in an instant and play.
Yeah.
It's a whole new experience, and it's easy. You don't have to remember anything.
Yeah, when they did the 4th character, because every character has their own base cards, so it's like, you don't feel like I need to remember some old stuff to get to the new stuff. So I guess what we're saying here is like DLC. I think there comes a point where you can just stop at the DLC. I think Dead Cells is way overstayed its DLC. Just put out another Dead Cells game. Channel your energy into something different. Because I don't want to play those same base levels just to get to this new area. Exactly. But for other games like Animal Crossing, I think 5 years of DLC is not, not a waste of time because you're continuously playing it anyway. But yeah, okay. Last question. This one comes from Solo. Good question, by the way, me. This one comes from Solo something. I am a huge fan of Ori, but I've typically, so good. But I've typically always been a dual console system of PlayStation and Nintendo. Being engrossed in Xbox culture, and this was more towards the Game Pass news, guys. What are 3 games or series for each of you that you desire to come from the Xbox to Switch? Now, I will amend this question with a couple rules, one of which they mentioned, which was performance is not an issue. If you're porting over a game from the Xbox as is, don't worry about, or you're going to get a shitty version for the Switch. The other one I will say is, don't worry if it's an Xbox exclusive or whatever. This question for you, Switch, is if it's a game on the Xbox, and hell, if it's for you, if it's a game on PlayStation, what kind of game would you like to see come over to Nintendo?
Well, I gotta be blunt. I'm not even familiar with all the Xbox games, but I mean, as far as franchisers and rights and ownership, I think I've said this millions of times. I need some type of Lord of the Rings game in my life on the Switch. So I'll lead with that. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big deep guy into the Xbox. I just, you'd have to name some big series for me. I don't even know.
The thing with the Xbox is
out.
I have done nothing but enjoy my Xbox, especially my Series X since it came out. I don't give a shit about any of the Xbox exclusive series.
Yeah,
I don't play Halo. I mean, Halo and Gears, I think, are the 2 big ones right now.
Yeah.
And who knows with Bethesda and what becomes an Xbox exclusive. But, like, they have some other exclusives. A bunch of games with names I can't remember. But, like, there's nothing really there. Ori and if you asked me 3 years ago, I would have said Ori and Cuphead. I don't know when Cuphead came out, but
maybe Fall Guys. But I think I know that's coming, but I've already fell off the bandwagon. No one even talks about that game anymore.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. But yeah, it's already coming. So it's like, but like, and you did mention the Lord of the Rings game. Like, is it Shadow of Mordor, which is the big one that people like? Yeah. I couldn't name a bunch myself. One game that would be very cool to have on the Switch is Red Dead Redemption.
Yep, I've heard good things about that. What about Fallout? Is that any good?
Fallout?
Is that Xbox exclusive or no?
No, it's not an exclusive. Okay. It's a first-person kind of more grim Animal Crossing, I guess. I mean, that's fine. That's a popular game series. There's a whole bunch of them too, so you'd have a whole bunch to choose from. Yeah, but like, I'm so glad Ori came to the Switch and actually performed really well, and Cuphead too. Like, they both played really well. Those were 2 of the. I mean, I basically one of the biggest reasons I bought the Xbox in the first place was because Ori 2 was out, and they said it wasn't coming to the Switch. So that actually got me over there. But yeah, there's not a lot that's on other systems that you're just dying to play. There really isn't. Yeah, and it comes down to these big games, Elden Ring, or like those kind of big games. But
I think Nintendo has their own, right? I mean, you got the Zeldas, the Marios, your Xenoblade. Oh, yeah. You got some of those bigger RPG games as well. So it's like they satisfy me. I'm not gonna be able to play Xenoblade and and Zeldas and all these other games on top of, the Xbox ones. I just don't have the time. Like I said, I want to, even out all of it. So
Right. The thing about Nintendo is I love Nintendo's franchise games. I can play them to death in Zeldas and Marios and all the games you added. But man, sometimes you just need something a little more like gritty or a little edgier or whatever. So I do that's why I said Red Dead Redemption, just kind of a bigger world you can jump into, and that sort of thing. So I would always choose a Nintendo console over any other console. But yeah, that's kind of good to see that you and I don't have a bunch of games that we just need to have.
Well, it's a good point. You played when we played through The Witcher, it was in a weird way, like not literally, but feeling a little bit of dirtiness because it was like it's a game that I'm not used to playing, right? It's a genre of game with even and again, the goriness and all that stuff does not bother me whatsoever, but it's something that I'm not used to doing or playing, right? It's just not in my category of game because of Nintendo. And I do play, like I said, the games I just mentioned. So it was a nice change of pace. I think, like you said, I like that approach.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the end of the questions. But I like that little segment. I think we should do that almost every week. Find some good questions and send it out. We don't have to bother everybody for every. There's only so much creative energy in the universe. You can't just keep coming up with questions for all of these shows.
That's fair. That's fair.
So we'll listen for someone. Everyone give good questions to the Nintendo dads, and we'll just take them.
Yeah, steal them because that's what we do. We're rebels.
That's what we're gonna do.
But John, what do we have coming up on the schedule the next few weeks?
You and I are getting greedy this week. Only a couple games coming out this week, but two well-known ones: Spelunky and Spelunky 2.
So I gotta stop you now.
Ooh.
Does it matter which one I play?
So I have heard they are not sequels in any way. Spelunky 2 is just a big improvement over the first one. I am going to play Spelunky 2. That was always my plan. Because I'm not going to play them both. I'm going to engross myself for dozens of hours, assuming I like it.
Wait, it's that long?
No, well, but it's a roguelike, so it's like you're going to do run after run after run after run, and it really depends on how you play those games, how often you play.
Okay.
But I'm not going to do that with Spelunky and then play Spelunky 2. So if I'm only going to play one, I want to play Spelunky 2. However, Spelunky 1 is $9.99 and Spelunky 2 is $19.99.
I saw that and I said, maybe I'll buy the $10 one to see if I like it. But then I'm going to be Spelunkied out.
Maybe you and I should just play Spelunky 1.
Don't talk me out of Arcane.
And then down the road, no, this makes sense. And then down the road, we can play Spelunky 2, and it's an iteration. Because if we play Spelunky 2 right now, not only have we spent $10 more, but how can we ever go back to Spelunky 1? You can't.
You'd only go back if you absolutely loved it.
Would you? But then you're going to play a game that you won't enjoy as much.
But what if it's the other way around? What if we play Spelunky? Like, that was okay, but it wasn't great. And now we're like, I'm not going to play Spelunky 2 because it was only and then it's like you missed out on actually a good game.
We might have to talk about this on the Discord tomorrow because this is interesting. I'm actually tempted to just do Spelunky 1, but we got to play the same game.
I'm going 2, I think.
All right. Well, don't commit to that. Don't commit to that. We
got to assume the same price. I think you put the price out the window for a minute.
If the price was the same, I would probably just play Spelunky 2.
I think that's what you got to think at. From the game point of view, money aside, I think this is a poll for the Dads After Dark channel tomorrow morning.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I've kind of talked myself into one. All right. Now, this game comes out Thursday, right? August 26th. That's the date I have.
That's what somebody
Thursday.
Said. I don't think that's true, though.
Because it's usually Tuesdays and Fridays. No, it says the 26th.
Where do you see
So that's weird. It comes out the 26th. So I need to finish Ace Attorney by Thursday. So I'll be playing some tonight.
I love the graphics.
So Spelunky and Spelunky 2. Sorry, that was a lot of crosstalk. Spelunky and Spelunky 2 come out Thursday. That's just going to be tomorrow when you're listening to this. And then No More Heroes 3, August 27th. the funny thing about No More Heroes 3 is a lot of people have said there's no game coming in August, and it's like No More Heroes 3 is like, hey, what am I, chopped liver? This is the big Nintendo release for August right here. No More Heroes 3. I've heard people are enjoying it. So interesting. I don't know if any of the dads have played it. I did play the first game on the Wii. I never did play the second game, not because I didn't want to. I just never. I think it came out when I lost interest in the Wii and I had switched to my PS3. So I'm not really interested in 3 because I haven't played 2, but I'm never going to play 2. So this series is just sort of dead for me right now. And plus, I'd want to replay 1, and I'm never going to do that. So
first world problems.
First world problems, I guess. But yeah, there you go. There you go. And also coming up this week, Saturday, if you are in the Denver area, we are having a big video game swap meet at Akihabara Arcade in Westminster. I don't know if anybody in the Denver area on the Dad's Discord, but if you want to drive to Denver and say hello to me, John Blanco, that would be awesome. We have 102 people RSVP'd for a swap meet, buy, sell, trade retro video games with the Denver Retro Gamers. So come up to Denver.
Did you guys ever meet at Casa Benitez?
No, because it's just too big of a store, and it's food service. There's just no way we're gonna get in there. We usually do game shops, and we've done arcades. That's pretty much the sweet spot, and we do so well when we go there. Because
is Casa Benitez as good as it is?
No, so Casa Bonita is famously bad. First time I went there, I didn't even eat Mexican food yet. So I think I ordered something really lame.
What is it? Like, what actually is it?
So Casa Bonita is a very large scale restaurant. Imagine the typical size of a restaurant and just multiply it by like 10. It's a huge space.
Why is it so big?
It's just because it's more of an indoor amusement park is really what it is. Like an indoor amusement park. It's like the size of a couple movie theaters. And there's like an area, like there's a main seating area where there's like literally divers that like dive down waterfalls indoors.
Yeah. I watched the South Park episode.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then there's like a basement area which is a little gloomier, but it's like quieter. There's just all these different seating areas. But yeah, for the most part, you walk in, you don't order your food at the table. You order your food when you walk in. So you get in a line and then you order your food. And then after you pay, you pick up your platter of the food that you ordered. So you get your food right away. You have it on a tray, and then you go and find where you want to sit. And sometimes you have to wait in a little line to get a table in an area. So you can kind of sit where you want. They have an arcade area. They have this little fun little pirate area. They've got old-timey picks. There's just a whole bunch of stuff.
It sounds fucking fantastic.
If you ever visited Denver, we would go. Your kids would love it. And the second time I went, because I've only been twice, I thought the food was actually pretty good. I got fajitas. And it's like, look, it's not the best fajitas I ever had, but it was pretty good. It was like, it was fine. But now, the South Park creators have bought it. And
that's what I hear. Are they doing anything with it, or they just wanted to buy it?
You know they are. Yeah. That's awesome. I think it's been closed down during the pandemic because it's a large indoor space. You don't get Casa Bonita to go. I mean, they just had less options, but they're saving it. And I'm sure they're going to like tweak it a little bit. And maybe, the food is bad because you are going into an amusement park and the only money you're spending is on the food. So really you're buying the food, and the food can be expensive, but it's almost like your ticket to get in. Are you
paying to get in or no?
You don't pay to get in. Like if they made you pay to come in and then just charged a regular price for the food, it would make more sense. But it could be like a $20 meal, and it's not worth $20, but you're paying because of all the entertainment. They do shows and stuff. And it's a great place to go with a large group. You never have to worry about you don't have to make reservations or anything. It's an enjoyable time. It's not bad. It's fun.
Glad you could spill the lore
Yeah.
Casa Bonita to me. Thank you, John.
It's one of the last truly unique places in Denver. A lot of my favorite little quirky Denver restaurants have gone under in the last 15 years. So it's a fun place to go. Yeah. Good time.
Ready. That's it. That's all we got.
All right, man. I'm so psyched for Spelunky once we figure out which game we're going to buy.
Two.
I love playing games with you, Drew.
I know. It's so fun.
All right, take us out. No, you got to take us out. You got to say goodbye to the people, Drew.
I don't have to say goodbye. I don't want to
say goodbye to the people. You'll be rude.
Goodbye, people.
The Dads After Dark show is a part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts are available, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher. Be sure to join us on the Nintendo Dads Discord in the Dads After Dark show channel for some naughty After Dark talk. Follow us on Twitter @NDadsAfterDark. Ask us a question, and we may answer it on the show. That's all for tonight. Good night, Dads. Sweet dreams.
That was interesting. That was fun.